As I drink my Chick-fil-A.
As you what? Hey, everybody.
Chick-fil-A.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the Can-Am Connection. Jody, Nathan, how are you guys doing?
A little tired. I got home about 6:45 this morning, so from work.
It's
So I
nap
just
time, you know?
took a quick nap, and then I'm here. So I'm going back to sleep because I got a 12-hour shift coming up. So,
Well, I appreciate you jumping on.
hey, priorities, man. Where's Tim at?
Don't know. Tim's doing Tim things around the globe. Who knows? He'll be in Spain today and South America tomorrow, and who knows?
Don't worry, he won't be in Greece, so it's all right.
He won't be in Greece in any way, shape, or form.
No.
He was cornering Mario, and that match was shocking.
Well, let's start off by asking who won.
Let me find the paper.
Is that a I know I lost yeah.
Because I honestly don't know. I don't remember who picked what.
I don't know where the paper's at. My kid's been screwing around my stuff on the table. It was all. I know we all at least had like one loss, and I think that's all we all had was one loss each.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I remember picking. I think I picked Bowen, and he didn't win.
I had two because I picked Marcio and he lost, and I picked Bowen and he lost. So
Okay.
I know I at least have two losses.
Well,
I picked Meta Orangi, so I had at least three.
Yeah, I missed Meta. I picked Meta. I picked Plowman, and then I had the rest right.
So what a stand-up guy, though. I mean, think about it.
I think Tim won, actually. No, I'm thinking about it.
And you know what? I might vanish here, guys, because it is thunder and lightning like crazy. So my power goes out.
You need to get. Have you seen those Generac generators? You should get one of those. They run right off your. They run right off your propane or natural gas, whatever your heat source is. And as soon as your power kicks out, the generator kicks in. They're quite amazing.
Yeah, I'm familiar with them. They also cost like $5,000 to get something that runs your house for the 10 minutes your power's out.
Oh, yeah, ouch.
There's only been one incident where the power's gone out for more than a day. So
are we going to get right into the matches?
Let's go into the matches.
Are we going to go in order? Or can we pick one? Because
I think
Metarangi, right? So you have a guy back-to-back weekends, right?
Yep.
Getting beat pretty badly back-to-back.
In North America, right? He goes to Canada, doesn't fare well, goes to Knuckles Up, doesn't fare well.
He did better at Knuckles Up than he did at Global Elite.
Yes. True. But after round one, when he had to drop in that full extended Kings where his arm was straight, there's no way his arm was going to be able to take that for 4 more rounds. At least it reached its elastic limit. There's no way his bicep was good anymore.
No. Mm-hmm. No. What was your thought on that, Jody?
I feel bad. I feel like Nathan said after match one, it was you know. And granted, it was each arm, right? They
were separate arms, yeah. Left arm in Canada, right arm in the States.
Yeah.
So, you would think that maybe you have a different game plan, but it just felt like he couldn't make any adjustment. And maybe it's the fact that, after match one, he couldn't really come back or recover from that.
I mean, and Toshiyuki's game plan was beautiful. He just hit straight into that flop press and just stayed there. And he didn't just stay there. He bounced on it just to really make that arm blow up fast. I mean, what was it? Round 3, he got flash pinned because his arm was just so gone.
Yeah, and he didn't lose the same way at each of those 2 matches.
No.
So I don't think there was anything to gain or to learn from the first one that he could have taken into the second one to help him.
Yeah. And it also makes you start thinking like, okay, how big is the gap between like Europe to North America to, Australia and New Zealand? Because the three main pullers from that region now have gotten crushed in their last four matches. Bowen gets crushed by Shark, Meta gets crushed by Toshiyuki, and Lachlan got destroyed by Paul Lynn. So it's like,
You got to
Didn't
be.
someone make a comment during the show? It wasn't Ozzy. I think it was somebody else. I can't remember where they were saying about, it's rough when you're like from New Zealand and you're the best guy there. You really have nobody to train with. And you're on an island amongst yourself because you're just the strongest guy there. Like who do you train with and where do you train? I'm at. And then it kind of shows up like, okay, now I come to these big events and go over two on my 2-week road trip.
yeah. Well, I mean, you're starting to see the familiar faces from that region, for lack of better terms, peter out, and you're getting these
Well,
new guys, like Mario come up and look like a world beater, and
let's not discount that Mario looked awesome.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that was the
So
point I was getting to.
you can't paint them all with the same brush. Like
No.
Bowen, yeah, he's got to take like that Icarus video that Kriege
Yeah.
put out. That's pretty much bang on.
Did you see the post Bowen put out?
That he's
Which
not
one?
going to pull in the higher weight classes anymore?
Yeah, he wants to focus on people in the 85 kilo and up, 85, 90 kilos. And like, I actually think that's a good idea, because if you go back and watch his match with Dan Mosier, when he beat Dan Mosier, like that was an 85 kilo Dan Mosier and a lighter Brian Bowen, and that was a great match. And that gave Bowen a lot of clout when he beat Dan Mosier. So.
But wasn't like Bowman trying to like prove not I don't want to say prove anything, but like, hey, he was challenging himself, and hey, kudos to him for doing that.
Yeah, it's great to challenge yourself, but you have to have you can't have unrealistic expectations, right? At the same time.
Yeah, well, isn't that kind of what Bowen does? Is have unrealistic expectations at all times?
Yeah,
He's made his name off that though too.
Yeah,
but now it's starting to turn around and shoot him in the ass, unfortunately, because now, like, this is what's been happening every time he's taken, a match as of late. He's been getting beat. So, like, you got to start dialing those expectations in a little bit.
but then he does something weird. Like something weird will happen, and he'll beat Chance Shaw. Like it's
or when he destroyed Bogdan Stoica and nobody thought he had a chance after coming off the ass whooping he took from Zurab, right? Like,
right. It's so bizarre because you can't, like, the same thing with Lachlan. Like sometimes he looks like he's a world beater, and then other times he'll get handled.
Like when he beat Pablo, like everybody was like, "Holy crap! Look the way he just handled Pablo," and then he just gets obliterated by Paul Lynn.
Matchups, man.
Matchups, timings. Like Meto Orangi, he's an interesting puzzle because the data I used on him was his matches against Mindaugas Dalskis.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about those matches as I prepare, and I'm thinking about those matches as we go into Knuckles Up. He is, a pretty good level European arm wrestler. What are you laughing at?
Nothing. I got a message.
He's a pretty good level arm wrestler.
Yeah.
And he barely got by Meto Orangi.
Yeah.
And then Meto Orangi, you expect, is going to show up. I thought he was going to go right through Toshiyuki. And then it just, I don't know. He's not built for super matches. Like, I will tell you this. I love the guy, but he is so big that he can barely walk around, man.
His ability to transition due to his size is really restrained, right? Like, there were times if he could have got behind his arm in the match, he might have been able to make it more competitive, but he's just, he's slow to the point. Yeah.
Is this where he needs to maintain pressure in order to transition if need be?
Well, I think it's not even that. I think he just needs a hell of a lot more center table control. Like, he's so reliant upon that King's move to wear people out that he's lacking here. You know what
But
I
it's
mean?
not really even an effective, like the guys that are effective with King's move are the guys that have the sticking point, like the Svetons. Like, I knew he was going to win that match even after he took the loss in round 1.
That guy,
He
good.
has an
I was
arm
so
that does
impressed.
not go past a certain point.
Well, it's also he keeps that up pressure, so he doesn't lay on his tricep like Meta does. Like, he still has that bend to his arm, and he's just constantly forcing up into your hand with
Right.
back pressure.
Yeah.
Whereas Meta's just kind of laying on his elbow with a straight arm, hoping you're going to tire out, and then he's going to be able to
But then
finish
what?
you.
Because at the same time you're stretched out here, you're
Yeah.
getting fatigued as well.
Yeah, I just for him, he
Yeah.
needs to focus more on, I think, center table control and more inside pressure. I'm not saying it's a hook, but just enough inside pressure where people aren't blowing him outside his shoulder on the go every time.
Yeah. I'm getting a lot of love in the chat here. I'm liking it.
Yes, I'm seeing that.
Yeah.
I can pull up the chat. No, I can't. Whatever.
If you open up the YouTube video and just mute it.
I could do that. Yeah, I could do that. Let me see.
So, I don't know. Where did we even start on this one? The Bowen match? I mean,
I thought we were talking about that. Or no,
that was pretty much domination. Like, there's not a lot to break down in the match. It's just, where does he go from here? And he kind of said it.
Well, I thought that, him trying to say, look, I'm going to go ahead and throw my name out there, stick my toe in the water and see what happens, even though on paper it seemed like a mismatch. But I was thinking that Ryan's going to do something clever, like he always does. Every once in a while, he does something clever that keeps everybody on their toes. And I thought he was going to do that, and it's just like, oh, maybe not. But
I mean, the fact that he was starting each round kingsing in this position instead of having his pronation engaged, like, you're at such a disadvantage there. He was never able. I mean, Shark had too much hand and was just able to dominate everything in that match. Granted, he was sweating his butt off and he had to work, but I didn't see a lane for Ryan to win that match after round 1.
Yeah.
Even when he tried to go inside, that was terrible.
So where does Sharkovich go from here? Off of that win, where would you put him? Would you put him against a guy like, RVJ?
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Alan Ford? Why not Alan Ford versus Ryan Bowen?
that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense, actually. But
yeah, I mean, first of all, he's not going to be outweighed by X amount of pounds.
Well, I mean,
starters.
Well, Alan Ford just weighed in at 100 kilos against his match with RBJ. So I mean,
he can get down pretty easy though.
Yeah.
I think that's just a
Jay Clean said. Dan Woodley said Zurab. I don't think you can say Zurab would
retired.
No, Zurab's. He broke his arm. He hasn't looked the same after breaking his right arm. So
I thought he kind of quit for a while, like he was going to focus elsewhere.
I mean, he just posted videos of him training again and looking really solid. So I mean, it's hard to say what condition he's in after that arm break, because it takes a significant amount of time to come back after one of those, right? So
Ryan the Bull says Shark is very beatable inside via Adam Warzinski.
Yeah, but not a lot of people have Adam's hand too, right? Where he has that ability. Adam's hand is ridiculous.
Oh, I wish I had his hand.
So,
good Lord.
If you just look around the United States, there's a dozen matches for Bowen that are compelling.
Craig Choulier.
Yeah.
Because that's very similar to the way Mosier, he would pull that match very similar to the way he pulled Mosier, I think. He would have to.
Yeah.
But the only difference is not to like crap on Mosier, but like Choulier can top roll. We saw that in his match against James Wall. I mean, I've never really seen Dan Mosier top roll. It's pretty much just a side pressure smash.
Yeah.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah. Well, where you guys want to go next? You want to talk about the
I think the Sveton match is a good one to look at too, because round 1, it looked like, oh crap, he's in trouble, and then round 2, he got that stop, and then it was inevitable after that.
I knew that it would be an adjustment into that Kings.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It's not like Svetlana panicked, but it seemed like after round one, it was like, okay, I lost it. I think I know where I need to go now. I mean, that's the vibe, body language I got from him. 100%. I'm okay. I just missed. I just got to tweak something a little bit, and I got it. And once he got it, it was no looking back.
No, 100%. And then I particularly love what he did in round 3 and 4. He did not wait for the hit. He initiated, got Robbie on the B side.
Yeah.
And at that point, it was just.
And the problem is, once you take one loss like that, they just pile up.
Yep.
But Robbie looked good. I mean,
yeah.
God damn, he's got everything you want in a marketable guy.
True.
And then,
you might see him back. Who knows?
I mean, the Merlot match kind of went like all of us expected, to be fair.
Yeah, what show was that guy on? They kept talking about how he was on some show on Netflix or something.
I have no clue.
I got to do some research on that. I'm curious now.
I have absolutely no clue what show.
I mean, Merlot has been on every Knuckles Up card so far. He's the kind of he's the face, Jody, like you say.
Told you, man. He's the face that runs the place.
Yeah.
And then I think the shocker, by far the shocker, was Plowman and Mario Tambakis.
Yeah, man. Like Plowman looked like an amateur in that match a little bit.
I mean, Mario's game plan to just grip low and try to isolate his pronation by kind of gripping him around the wrist was just, perfect.
How many pins did Mario get in that match?
Uno.
How many elbows did were in that match?
Well, minimum 6. Minimum 6 because he fouled out 2 rounds.
Lots and lots.
But I mean, it would have been. I mean, you can't argue that Plowman's side pressure was there and engaged because every time he would hit sideways, he would take Mario to the B side.
Yeah.
So,
answer your question, Dan Woodley. I don't think there was a weight limit in that match.
On the Plowman match?
Yeah.
No, there wasn't.
So, Knuckles Up doesn't have established champions. They don't have like particularly sticking to a weight class. They just make good matches, and there's no defending of a title or anything like that. They just make good matches.
They just throw stuff against the wall and see what sticks because obviously Shark and Bowen didn't stick to the wall. There you go.
There's a match right there. Mario and Shark.
I think Mario dominates that match.
But it's still, really? It's still a match to make, right? They're similar builds, similar sizes.
I want to see a Mario versus a guy like Jerome Loud.
Remember how we were just that's good. Remember we were just talking styles make matchups, right? And the way Mario had to fight against Merlot, how that was a 5-round war, right? But I think if you put Plowman and Merlot together, it's a totally different matchup.
That's an interesting match.
I think Plowman wins that match personally.
That would be
it's a style thing, right?
I mean, at some point, Merlot is going to step up, level up. And, yeah, I mean, he's never had easy matches. But, I mean...
I think that's a match to make, to be fair, because, like...
so is Bowen number 4 in Australia now?
you have Rickards Borman. You have Mario Tambakis.
Where's that other guy that pulled?
Lachlan Adair.
There's that guy that pulled super heavyweight in WAL from Australia.
I don't remember his name.
Jay Clean, help me out. You can remember it.
He's from Australia, huh?
Yeah.
I don't remember it off the top of my head.
All right. Well, let's move on.
I mean,
Dan Woodley, how do I think I can fare against Bowen? Not at all right hand. Not at all right hand.
And Bowen does not pull left. So while he has pulled left, he doesn't really train it, and he does not claim to have any sort of a level with his left. Let's not forget that Chris Gobby kind of played with him on the left hand.
Is that a James Wall sighting in the chat?
James Wall.
That's a match to talk about.
Plowman was injured. Oof, that's a twist.
Yeah, that is a twist.
How injured was he?
Did he injure his elbow and couldn't keep it on the pad because it hurt?
So, okay. When they say he was injured, was that prior to the match?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I guess while we wait on that, we could talk about his match with Craig Tullier.
Oh, best match on the card. Best match of the day.
Best match of the card. Yep, that's for sure.
I mean,
to the point where you kind of want to see it again, because the fifth match was a little bit of a controversial. Well, not controversial. It's not what we wanted to see.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not what we wanted to see.
I mean, Craig made the right adjustments in round 4 and round 5 to go to that low hand top roll for sure.
All right, James Wall says Plowman's got some ongoing issues with his side pressure.
So it's UCL basically.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. As far as James Wall and Tullier, if you guys saw the show, the halftime show, and you saw me on there, what did I say? I said, hey, there's a chance for a trilogy, meaning that, okay, Craig wins this one, James win the next one, and then you're going to have a rubber match. That's what I feel might happen.
I mean, I think Craig also found a lane around 4 and 5 that James would have to work on shutting down.
Yeah.
So even says Neil mentioned something about Plowman not being 100%. So let's touch base on that for a second. If you're an athlete and, you know, the ink is dry and you're ready to go to this event and all of a sudden you're not 100% now, is it your responsibility to tell the promoter, hey, I'm not 100% going in? Is it out of respect to your opponent, hey, I'm not 100%? Because it was messed up. What I see messed up, I'm not pointing fingers, but when you hear after the fact that, well, so-and-so wasn't 100% going into a match, and I'm like, well, crap, does that give that person, a false sense of victory because, well, I didn't know he was already hurt going into the match? What do you think?
Put your arm on the table. You shouldn't even talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. The word I'm injured post because I lost because I was injured. It's like, no, you put your elbow down. There's no excuses at this point.
Plowman never injured, pull out of the match.
Plowman never really even changed anything anyways. Like, he has options. Like, he could have, but to me, he
pretty limited if he's got no side though.
Yeah.
So he's basically can do what he was doing, and every time he was doing straight back pressure, he's pulling his elbow off the pad.
Well, I mean, he could have waited for Mario to try to be a little more offensive and kind of just rolled out slightly and tried to come across, but I never saw that once.
Yeah. Well,
James Walls agreed. Hey, you put your arm down. Hey, put it down. So
yeah. I mean, even in that match, the Wall Tullier match, like, James got in, got shoulder commitment in round 1, got that hook set deep. Craig made a great adjustment round 2, got him blasted off center, got him on the B side. So I mean, it was a good match for sure. I mean, you could run that match 3 or 4 more times and the outcome could be different depending on the day. So I do think Craig's adjustment round 4 and 5 with going to the dragging style low hand top roll was smart. So I think if they were to pull again, I think Craig would focus on that a little more, and James would have to make some adjustments to fight that.
Oh, I'm sure he went back home and probably relived that match in his head and was like, you know what? I know I did wrong. I'll go ahead and fix that and pray and hope that another rematch comes down the pike. Who knows? Maybe Arm Guys. I don't know. Arm Guys is coming to the States in March of 2025. Who knows? Maybe another rematch per se. I don't know. You have to get together with Mr. Paul Maiden about that. I don't know, but
someone's dryer or washer's done.
It's my washing machine, and it plays an excessively long song.
Oh, you got one of those too?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think mine is the same, so that's why I knew it. And then I guess the only match we haven't talked about was Marcio and Jordan, and that match went exactly how I thought it would go if it went inside.
Why? Why? With a capital letter Y, did why was it? Did it seem like Marcel did not apply any kind of up pressure or back pressure whatsoever?
Well, here's my question. Like he did in those later rounds, but what if you know you're pulling a guy that is a straight inside puller that is trying to come here every single time? Why in the hell are you setting up straight up and down at the front of the pad instead of dropping your angle, bringing your arm back, coming down? That way he can't get a bite around your wrist. Like he never once made that adjustment. He stayed at the front the whole time.
Well, I will tell you, there's a couple things I noticed as well. There, Marcio, when I was speaking to him about his game plan for Pavlo, I thought that is one of the smartest things I've ever heard, like what he planned to do with him and how he beat him. When I watched the match on the weekend, I thought there was maybe a lack of it, and he was relying too much on his training and strength. Maybe he was trying different things, but did you notice the elbow placements before every start?
Yeah.
It was. He could have made some adjustments. We'll put it that way. He could have fought a little harder for the adjustments, but would it have closed the gap? I don't know.
There was a
Sonev just looked so. And where's it coming from? Because he's not a huge guy. Like he's a big guy, but he's not like thick everywhere like a typical prototypical super heavyweight.
If you think not long ago, Jordan pulled Todd Hutchings, and Hutchings went right through him at 100. I think it was 105 though, 105 kilos. So Jordan was smaller.
I have pulled with him before, a long time ago. It was in Moldova. He was in that Elite Eight, and man, he must have been 19 years old at the time. But
didn't he pull Devin on the same card that Plowman pulled Brandon Alcessor?
I don't know.
I think he did. If I remember right.
I was just like, I felt disappointed for him. That's it. In my heart of heart, I just felt like, no way. I'm like, and I was kind of like, like I said, just I wanted him to win so bad, at least. And then I was like, at least get one round.
It wasn't even close, unfortunately.
But well, when you got a guy that is like Marcio was just going right into his power, but maybe that's just Sonev dictating the match.
Maybe, Jordan's hand just being too dominant, forcing Marcio in.
When Matt Mask could not do anything with him up top.
Yeah,
I knew it was.
That's what it was. He pulled Matt Mask with that one.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be a problem because he kind of toyed with him, and if you can't, like Matt's pronation is like pretty goddamn good. And if you can't do anything if you can just stop a guy like that, it's a problem. Like Sonev, it's a shame that I like what he said at the end, where even if the world was free, he would choose knuckles up. Meaning that would be his promotion of choice. But the shame is that he's banned from a couple of big organizations, so we'll never get to see him. Well, at least King of the Table and East versus West, and WAF, of course.
Who do you match him up with at 115 kilos right now, though?
Of the pullers that are left, you mean?
That
aren't tied up with the rest?
Yeah, it makes you wonder who you put that man up against, because I don't see anybody in the United States, right? If we're looking solely at the United States and Canada, there's nobody that beats him right now, in my opinion, at 115 kilos, outside of your, people that are contracted.
you would need to find a guy that you think could just dominate somebody like Marcio Barboza. And does that guy out there in the United States right now? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
You know, you can't even really you can't say. I mean, the Pavlo that I saw at Global Elite, I mean, he is massive, but he's also not 115 kilos anymore.
Well, I still think Jordan would take that match though. If you said, "Hey, you're going to pull Pablo right-handed, no weight cap," he's going to be like, "Okay, cool." You know what I mean? And that's a match that's possible for sure.
It is a match that's possible. I'd like to see it.
Somebody said in the chat, I saw somebody was talking about Camille or something, and I'm like, I don't see that. I think Camille's contracted now both arms, so I don't foresee that happening. And then somebody said the one that pulled Camille at the last Knuckles Up, Myrtila.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think he beats Myrtila personally.
How about we do this? This might not be a soapbox, but how about we do this? What if, to make things easier for us as far as predicting who should pull who next, what if we all got a list to say, okay, here are the guys that cannot compete in these other organizations. That way, we don't have to worry about those guys, and we can focus on the field and go, how about this guy versus that guy? Life would be a lot easier, would it not?
I mean, it's not really hard to figure out though if you just sit down and take the time. You look at anybody that's pulled WAF that is basically European, and they're going to be state sponsored through their government to pull WAF. So you got to kind of exclude them. And then you look at anybody from the United States. It's
not Krdeka.
He might have had a contract signed prior to taking. He might have signed his contract after taking that match. You never know. I mean, it's hard.
This is the key. So you can pull if you had a previous arrangement.
Yes.
They're letting you honor those.
Yes. Which is a good thing to do, right? Like you made a prior engagement, and why would you say, nah, you can't honor that?
Which is what happens with
Georgie.
That
match was so one-sided.
Well, I knew it would be, but I didn't even see it. I assume he won.
It wasn't.
Oh yeah,
that guy would hit, and he wouldn't even move Georgie off. His hand was completely gone, and Georgie just kind of toyed. And then
even Brita 3-0 over Robbie Topi, and I was actually at Robbie Topi's the other day, and we were talking. I was like, dude, what the hell? What happened? It was like Robbie's hand was bigger than Brita's, but Brita just stonewalled him, and Robbie couldn't pronate. His finger strength was.
Brita's starting to top roll left-handed now, which is weird. He primarily hooks.
Yeah. Banka. Not as simple as you think. You will never see a contracted athlete get permission to pull a Bulgarian, for example.
Certain Bulgarians,
yeah. Anyway, there was a message, a question in there. Did Sveton really call out Ingen? And yes, he did.
He did.
And Ryan, you and I both said that will never happen, ever.
Never happen. Unless suddenly Sveton and
WAF,
Asen and Murcha primarily, make peace and they get back in the good graces of WAF. I don't think that's happening anytime soon.
No. But that was kind of funny. He said, I'm not going. Like, he really said that? I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's ballsy. I would like to see them have a match on neutral territory like, Knuckles Up. That would be awesome. But it's never going to happen.
No, I mean, Ingen has way too much to lose for that. I mean, too much to lose.
But what a legendary match.
I mean, they pulled before, I'm pretty sure. I mean, obviously it's been a long time ago, but I know they pulled before.
Right.
Yeah. Well, what do you guys think overall on the card? Refereeing?
It was good.
Nice to see Keith Michelle back on a big event.
I like that. Good old Keith. Keith hasn't been on like a pay-per-view type thing since he was with WAL, right?
So it's been a while.
I thought the card was good. Makes me wonder, what they got in store for the Knuckles Up number 5, January 25th.
Well, we're already talking about it.
You know what was big? You know what I liked? There was a couple things I liked.
Jody Williams was on the halftime show.
Yeah, we saw that. One thing I liked is we didn't see any video reviews. Remember last time there was no video reviews. Remember last one that was a big kerfuffle because they couldn't do reviews and X, Y.
Well, they weren't fast enough.
Yeah. The one thing I didn't like, and this is just, I guess it created too much downtime for me, is when they had to take the table off the riser and adjust the table and then put the table back on, and you had Jake trying to like interact with the crowd and stuff like that. Like, for me, that's something that should be done during your break, maybe when you took your 15-minute intermission there at halftime or whatever you want to call it, and you did all that then.
Yeah.
Instead of doing it right before the main event where everybody can see it on the pay-per-view.
Well, that's a learning process because they probably didn't expect it to loosen up like that. So, yeah, you're right. If they would have did it during the intermission, no one would have noticed.
Loctite is your friend.
Yeah, as long as you never want to take that table apart again.
Just get it impact, it'll come apart.
Just get it welded together like that. It's permanently in the Barrymore Film Center.
Hey.
So did they start announcing clues or whatever for the next Knuckles Up matches, I should say?
Well, I'll make a prediction on it right now. Jason Merlot will be on the card.
Whatever gave you that idea?
I'll raise you one. There will be a ladies' match on the card.
Oh yeah, no, I guarantee. Yeah,
I got some inside information. So
is Danielle going? Have you been talking to Danielle?
I actually know I actually know the match but I really can't say right now. I don't want to,
All fair, Jody. All fair.
Is Jody Williams been talked to about going?
You know what?
Was I close with that? Was I close with that match that I predicted?
Well, I'll put you this way. Me and that person were chatting off air.
So just say yes. I was right.
we were chatting off air and like going, hey, I would love to. But I'm asking though, because when they put you on the spot like that in front of everybody, are they serious about that? Like, maybe. Hey, let's go,
I don't think Will asks any questions without the future in mind.
Okay.
So, hard to say. Might not be the next one. Could be the one after that. Who knows? We had, 7 matches total?
6 or 7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7, yeah.
7. So, I think the goal was 8, and the one match got canceled, right?
Right.
So 8 matches. That's probably what you can expect at the next Knuckles Up. I thought the time, I watched that no problem.
Helps when matches are 3-0.
Well, yeah, I suppose. The length of time it took was good. I thought it flowed well. Production is getting better and better every time. They started on time, ish. And, I even enjoyed the press conference. I don't normally watch the press conference, but it was short and sweet. And, I liked it.
Put a Merlot versus Sept on.
Oh, that's a cerebral match.
Man, I just don't know if Sveton is. I don't know, man.
I didn't even realize he was 53. Did I see that right?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it would not be good for Merlot. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, it's just it'll be a cerebral word.
I don't think it's good for anyone that is close to his own weight.
Or within 45 pounds, apparently.
Right. Because, good Lord, I mean, just when I saw the stat and it said 53, I'm like going, is that right? Like, wow,
I mean, he's so sticky. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's just
Svetan is tough. What do you do with Toshiyuki Shishido now?
You got to give him. I mean, you could put him against Jordan Sonev.
No, you couldn't.
No, because Jordan would kill him, in my opinion. But like,
what about Toshiyuki versus Mindaugas Dulskis with the right arm?
that's yeah.
Or, well, I mean, there's a long list of super heavyweight guys that are at that tier, and
You put in Ryan Espy left-handed.
hey, bring it on, man. I already, I expressed my interest in being there in January. Now it's up to them. And I even suggested some possible matches,
I mean, it's like, I know January seems so far away. It really does. But at the same time, it's like,
It's not.
one would think if somebody was going to be on the next card, you kind of let them know, hey, this is what I got for you. That way, how people track their training. Hey,
4 months out, right?
January 25th. Okay. Now I'm going to start backwards. Where should I start my training for that match in January? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you see what I'm saying? So, because I'm telling you, one would think that.
Now I threw this on the thumbnail because I saw it's coming up this weekend. Unless you got any more thoughts on Knuckles Up 4?
Well, there was a couple other matches we didn't talk about from this weekend too. John beating.
Oh yeah, this will
Paul
segue
Passmore.
into this. Yeah.
Oh, okay, fair.
Yeah. Uncle John beating Passmore. That's crazy.
Looked great. Looked great. Looked absolutely phenomenal. His game plan on it was beautiful.
It's just super wild. Like, good Lord. Like, oh my gosh.
Kept Paul out of his power.
I've never seen Paul after I saw the match, because even I asked him, hey man, was Uncle John that much more stronger than you? He was like, dude, the lanes he had was like, wow. And then, when Brad Cook put the match on YouTube, follow him, 217, by the way, people, subscribe. When he put it up there, I was like, huh. And is it me or is it John getting bigger and bigger every time we see him?
He's getting bigger in the upper body and his legs just keep shrinking.
Yeah. He's gonna have to start being careful.
I know I saw that he's coming to Texas State and he's going to pull 42s and supers.
Yeah, that will be interesting.
I mean, because you got guys like Tucker Keating and Lindley Keating. I mean, you're familiar with Lindley, Ryan.
Yep.
Tucker's son's really good. I think Anthony's going. Robbie's going. So, I mean, it's not like he's going to have an easy day by any means. So
no, not at all. But this weekend, John's pulling again in Canada. He's got there's a super match card that's happening in Grand Prairie, Alberta, and Uncle John's going up there and he's pulling Brian Parliament right-handed. He's pulling Jay Smith left-handed.
He should win.
Can you elaborate about those gentlemen for us in the chat, please?
Both big, strong guys, but 2 weeks ago I would have said it would be a great match, but after I saw what John did to Passmore, it makes me nervous that it won't be close at all. Right-handed, it could be. John, I think, is better with the left.
Yes, I agree.
And Jay, like, I pulled him left-handed. Man, I just think Uncle John has got too much right now. But, I mean, if the match stops, it could be interesting.
Here's a question. I have a question. Who do you put John against now in the top 5 in North America?
Are we talking about super heavyweights?
42s.
42s. If you put him with a right-handed,
I'm talking left.
Yeah, that's tough, man.
Because
that's really tough. Put him against Topi.
That's a match. Yeah, because left hand you have your top 5 are Marcio Barbosa, Brita, Topi, Ron Bath, and then Uncle John.
Topi's the guy. He's the guy. And if he goes in there and beats Topi, then he's got to go against Brita.
Well, funny you should say that, because on Neil's show the other day, yesterday? Can't remember, the other day, he told Neil, Uncle John did, that he's been he actually went down to Breeda's place, stayed for a week, and said, "Hey, here's the strength program you should get on." And Uncle John followed it to a T, and voila. So,
care to elaborate on the strength program?
Who said this, Brito?
These are from his words. He said, "There's a strength program." Brita said, "Hey,
kind of a program are we talking about? What are we saying?
You should probably do this, And John, went to the lab, did what he had to do, and he came out, and he said there was a couple spots in the match against Passmore where, okay, I'm at a disadvantage, but because of strength training, that he was able to kind of pull out of that and overpower that. So
interesting.
Did the program include injectables?
Jay Clean, that's very disrespectful to say.
Oh man.
Jay says,
Topi, I would agree with that. He'd be a good matchup.
Topi is a good match for him.
If he wins that one, then give him Brito.
Well, then he's in the top 5, and he's
he's in the top 5.
Well, okay, yeah. He's got Brian right-handed, and he's got. I mean, unless John decides he's going to keep getting bigger, and he ends up in super heavyweight.
Well, he had to cut just to make 242, by the way.
Yeah.
So
he could be like the two guys he's pulling on the weekend are both super heavyweights.
Right. Because I think there was a weight cap with that Passmore match, if I'm not mistaken.
It was 110.
Yeah.
What's 250 in kilos?
253 is 115.
So
yeah, now we're talking about Uncle John's head size now.
Maybe Uncle John will hit the Arnolds in that 275 class. Hey?
No, there you go.
I'm very curious to see how that all shakes out.
Especially being a left hand this year, too. Or next year.
2025.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm still, I'm hoping, and I haven't talked to, Tim, but maybe, how about you, Ryan, since you're putting one on? Nathan, are you putting one on too in Texas, yes?
They're doing one at Texas State, yeah.
So have you guys gotten a hold of the William and Christopher and go, hey, guys, let's have a meeting with all the promoters putting together these qualifiers, because I'm still trying to get a visual, whereas once that day happens, and they got their own booth. You got all those athletes, because if you've been to an Arnold before, how packed it was just for arm wrestling.
I think they said they were going to break it up into like time slots.
Okay.
Is what I think they said they were going to do, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything that the rest of us are going to tell them that they don't already have figured out.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But and I know that, hell, once that thing starts, left or right hand, everybody's going to be hanging around. So if you got a chair, you best not go to the bathroom because you ain't getting it back. So
I don't think there will be a chair.
True.
It will be standing room only the whole time.
100%.
Yeah.
I think they're going to do. Are they going to do? I think they said they were going to do it separate days too. Left hand one day, right day another, and then finals or something. I don't remember.
That would make sense. So I think the festivities actually kick off February 28th.
Yes. Yeah. I think you got to be there early. As soon as they come out with some hotel information, I'll be booking.
Right.
I anticipate going no matter what. Like there's no way I'm not going to qualify. I mean, sorry guys, that's just the way it is. It's
here's a question.
It's the top 3.
Question. If you could change one thing about arm wrestling to make it more attractive for the general public, what would that be?
I think this horse has been beaten 100 times over.
Well, the problem is, the ones that thought that we would do it have done it already. I wouldn't try to water down and come up with my own rule set just to try to make it more appealing. That's been tried.
I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole because I'll start saying some things and then
I'll say things. I don't give a
People
crap.
think we'll go back to that person. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? So it's like I
don't give two shits. I think.
I mean, I don't either, but I don't have the energy right now. I'm still fucking tired from work. So
I mean, people try to. I mean, everybody's trying to rewrite everything. Like the table's been what we had. We went from the donut to the traditional square we have now. Now people are trying to change that for this, that, and the other, and go back to this. And it's just like people are trying to complicate shit too much.
We went from donut to there was sit down, then it came to stand up, then we had square pads with straight across, then we had square pads with staggered, then we had 7x7 changed to 7x9. And then, of course, now we've got the Mac table, which is a huge playing surface and all different rule sets. The only rule I don't like in the high five is the warning for movement and referee's grip.
Especially running 3 fouls.
Well, and the warnings don't get you anywhere because you don't get fouled out for moving a referee's grip. You just keep getting warnings, which don't mean anything.
Okay, so Ryan, we had that discussion. If you're going to have 3 fouls, get rid of the warnings. If you're going to have warnings, go to 2 fouls.
But the warnings.
So here, I give you a perfect example: World Series of Arm Wrestling. There you go, 3 fouls, but there ain't no warnings.
Yeah, you just get a foul.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those matches that were carved right in a referee's grip.
Oh, 100% they were. Yeah. I actually took a picture of it and I sent it to you guys, remember, on the chat. And I was like, is this just me? Because I don't think this is straight.
Yeah.
The Claymore, would you add a thumbtack match or would you get rid of a thumbtack match? Please clarify.
That would never have existed ever, period. End of story, period.
No, 1,000 times no. No. How about this? It's not even a change. It's just, making sure what the referee says goes. Those are the rules we all grew up with. End up. If the ref says don't move, don't fucking move. But the ref needs to be like, look, instead of giving these pullers extra chances, no, fuck it. If you foul their asses, I bet they knock it off.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in some places they're trying to be, when you're allowing interpretations of the rules to be more lenient, pullers are going to do stuff to get away with it, right? They're going to test those boundaries. If everything was strict style like you have at WAF or EFA, the stuff wouldn't be as prevalent because they would be getting fouled out significantly more. But considering we're being more lenient in certain areas, you're going to have the fuckery. It's inevitable.
But that's the problem. That's the problem we run into, though. Like, as soon as you start being lenient, then where do you draw that line, right? Because it's a gray area. Because then it's like, all right, because I guarantee you can get 4 individuals, which means 2 matches, right? You're more lenient with this match because of who's involved, but not so much in that match.
Yeah.
That's where you get the gray area, and that's how things get all fucked up.
Well, I mean, it's going to happen regardless, like I said, when the rules aren't strict. So if we got away from lenient interpretations of the rules, things would be a little bit different.
No shock table for me.
No shock table either.
I want to talk about these super matches fast.
Yes.
At least mention them. So Jeremy Esty versus Cody Sluggett. Sorry if I don't pronounce your names correctly. Don't know a lot about those guys. Jesse Harrow versus Jordan Weeb. Jordan is a guy from Manitoba getting a super match. That's nice to see. And Joe Fox versus Curtis Mocan. Now that's a match.
Ooh, Foxy.
That is interesting. Joe Fox has been around all over the place. Pulled that PAL against a Latvian, I think. Of course, you know who he is, Nathan. He pulled a Latvian, for crying out loud.
What's your point, huh?
So, Joe is for sure going to be the favorite in that match. Curtis is up and coming, super strong, trains with us sometimes. And man, it could be an interesting match.
Is this event going to be like live or what?
Yeah, actually, in this video description, okay, are the links for the Global Elite pay-per-view, which you can still buy, the High Five pay-per-view, which you can still buy, and the live stream for this Fall Brawl super matches. So in the YouTube video description, you can find all those links. And Magda said they're still selling pay-per-views, so she's still making money off the pay-per-view sales.
That a girl.
So no leaks as far as footage of those matches.
And then we still got we got some interesting matches coming up at the end of the month as well. At King of the Table, that's going to be a good one as well. There's one match in particular I'm looking forward to more than
which one?
Kurdacha and Morozov on the right.
So will next week's show be a prediction show then? I'm assuming it's the 28th, right?
Yes, it's that Saturday, yes.
So next week will be a prediction show.
Yeah, because the card is shaping up to be absolutely insane.
We're doing a King of the Table prediction show next week? That's always a fun time.
It's like, don't we always? Did you guys also hear that they're trying to set another match up for December? I saw Barbora talking about it. So
what'd she say?
I think they're trying to set her up at the next King of the Table in December.
Did she say who? Or is it just like
it's on Devin's video?
Oh yeah, when he gave out the spoilers.
No, this is from that event he was just at over in Switzerland or whatever it is. So the matches currently for King of the Table 12 on September 28th, you have Natalie Hristov, and I'm going to butcher this name, and I'm so sorry, Kasper Sinica.
Yeah.
Alex Kurdacha versus Artem Morozov, right-handed. This match I'm super looking forward to as well. Corey West and Kamil Jablonski. That's got some major implications on it. RBJ and Nugo.
Yes.
And then you have Auden and the Korean Hulk. Sergey Kalyan. This one's huge too. Sergey Kalyanchenko versus Georgy Svetkov.
That's probably my favorite match on the card.
Yeah.
Georgie versus Kalyanchenko. I mean,
there's
match.
Some absolutely massive matches.
That's going to be the one to see.
And then Devin and Leonidas, which,
okay.
But I think there's some, like, if you take, like, let's say the winner of Alex and Morozov and then put them against the winner of Sergey and Georgie, that's a.
Yeah. I'm waiting to see when the slap fighting guy gets his first.
He's got to be top 10 in the world now, right?
His second professional match.
Oh man!
You get 2 prints.
Hollywood. Matt Collins in the house.
Did we talk about that? By the way,
what's that?
Rick and Borman's calling out Don Underwood.
Yes, we did not. We didn't talk about it, but yes, he did do that.
Yeah. A lot of stuff happened on that pay-per-view other than the matches. Sound like Don Underwood said yes, so I think Don Underwood's going to be pulling in January
against Richard Bormans, and that kid's a stud. He's up and coming from Australia for sure.
Yeah.
But the thing is, can he deal with Don's speed and side pressure is the question.
And I assume that's a right-handed match.
Yeah, I think Don's left bicep's still absolutely gone. So.
Yeah. And when is the Yoshi Kanai Todd Hutchings match?
That's at the next East vs. West in November.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That's yeah.
That card's shaping up to be insane too. Have you seen it?
They did him no favors giving him Hutchings.
Have you seen that card thus far?
Nope.
No, just bits and pieces, not all of it.
Yeah.
So there's been 9 matches released thus far, and all 9 matches are absolutely insane. You have Irakli Zerekishvili against Georgi Tatayev, and if you guys don't know who Georgi is, he's that super long 95 kilo guy. He's insane.
Yeah.
You have we have Devin versus Oleg Petrenko for the 105 title.
That's an interesting match.
Vitaly Luletin versus Georgi Zaranov. right-handed.
I think that's a great match.
That's an insane match, right? Michael Todd and Gennady.
That's a crazy match.
Ivan Matyushenko and Alejan Moratov for the 115 left-handed title.
Must see.
That is what I'm not going to pick.
The matches you've said already is enough.
Dude, this card is insane, right? It gets better. Todd Hutchings and Yoshi Kanai. Oleg Jacques versus Bet Kilioniani. We just watched what
pretty cool, yeah. Oleg, yeah.
I mean, look what Bet Keely just did his last match where he controlled. Dude, here's an insane one. Reno Masic and Ibrahim Sagov, insane match. Azat Srapian versus Hunter Knopfs at 70 kilos, and Azat is the current 70 kilo WAF champion. This is for the 70 kilo East versus West championship.
Yeah.
So I mean, another great match. We get to find out how Hunter compares internationally now with,
Can't wait to see it.
I mean, that's only 9 matches. I think 13 or 15 matches still. So like 5 or 6 matches still to be released. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Don't we have another Challenger Series coming up too?
November 23rd.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, gents, it's time to wrap her up because the housekeepers are approaching with a vacuum pretty soon, and we're over the hour mark.
Stay on.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good.
I have a guess or something.
Hey.
I said, stay on for 1 second afterwards.
Oh yes, we gotta talk about all the secret matches. So
yeah.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll be back next week. It should be an exciting show.
Hunter Knopfs got injured?
What?
It says Hunter withdrew because of injury.
Okay, so scratch that one.
What? Already? Son of a bitch.
Yeah. More to come.